Welcome back to Viet Flavours. Today we are making Japchae, a savory and slightly sweet dish of glass noodles beautifully tossed with tender beef and a vibrant assortment of vegetables. Once a royal delicacy, Japchae has evolved into one of the most beloved celebration dishes in Korean cuisine. On the screen here, I present the main ingredients for our Japchae. We have 225 grams of chewy Korean glass noodles, also known as Dangmyeon, made from sweet potato starch, 200 grams of beef, 100 grams of fresh spinach, 3 fresh flower shiitake mushrooms, 1 medium carrot, and half of a yellow onion. I know we have a whole onion shown here on the counter, but we will have it later for the perfect portion. And here are our finishing touches. We have 2 green onions finely chopped, which will go into our sauce and be tossed with the noodles later on. 2 egg yolks lightly beaten. We will fry these into a thin sheet and slice them into delicate ribbons for a beautiful garnish. And finally, 1 tablespoon of roasted sesame seeds to add that perfect nutty aroma right at the end. For the noodle sauce, we use 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon plus 2 teaspoons of sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of chopped green onion, and half a tablespoon of freshly minced garlic. And finally, for the beef marinade, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, half a teaspoon of sugar, half a tablespoon of freshly minced garlic, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Let's start our preparation. First, remove the stems from the shiitake mushrooms, then thinly and evenly slice the caps. If you're looking for a deeper, more earthy umami profile, you can also use dehydrated shiitake mushrooms. Just be sure to soak them until they are fully rehydrated before slicing. Take that yellow onion we saw earlier, cut it in half, and then thinly slice one of those halves. Next, we will julienne the carrot. Try to keep the pieces uniform so they cook evenly and look beautiful in the finished dish. Finally, chop the fresh spinach into lengths of about 5 to 6 centimeters. Now that we've finished cutting up our vegetables, it's time to move on to slicing our beef. To the bowl containing the thinly sliced beef, add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, half a teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and half a tablespoon of freshly minced garlic. Mix everything well to ensure each piece of beef is perfectly coated, then set it aside to marinate. One final step before we move to the stove: preparing our noodle sauce. Combine 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon plus 2 teaspoons of sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of chopped green onion, and half a tablespoon of freshly minced garlic. Whisk everything together until the sugar is fully dissolved, then set it aside. Now, we're ready to cook. Add water to a small non-stick pot and bring it to a rolling boil. Drop in the spinach and blanch it for just 30 to 40 seconds until it softens and turns a vibrant green. Immediately plunge the spinach into a bowl of ice-cold water to stop the cooking process. Once cooled, drain it thoroughly and squeeze out as much excess moisture as possible with your hands, then set it aside. We are going to use the same non-stick pot for our stir-frying to keep cleanup easy. Drizzle a small amount of neutral oil into the pot over medium heat, then add the sliced yellow onions. Cook for about 1 minute or until they just start to turn soft and translucent, then transfer them to a plate. Next, use the same pot to stir-fry the julienned carrots. Cook until they are just tender but still hold a slight bite, then remove them from the heat. Repeat the exact same process with the sliced shiitake mushrooms, cooking until they are beautifully softened. The reason we cook these vegetables separately is because each has a different cooking time. This ensures every single ingredient retains its perfect texture and vibrant color. Now for our protein. Turn the heat up to high and add the marinated beef to the pot. Stir fry quickly for just a minute or two until the meat is just cooked through. Next, we'll prepare a beautiful traditional garnish. Lightly oil and heat a non-stick skillet over low-medium heat. Pour in the beaten egg yolks, tilting the pan to create a very thin, even sheet. Once the egg has set, carefully fold it in half and remove it from the pan. Let it cool completely before slicing it into fine, delicate ribbons. This will add a beautiful splash of color to our finished dish. Last but certainly not least in our cooking stage is the heart of the dish, the glass noodles. Boil the glass noodles for about 6 to 7 minutes, or according to the package instructions, until they are translucent and perfectly chewy. Once done, drain them and give them a quick rinse with cold water to stop the cooking and prevent sticking. Use kitchen shears to cut the noodles a couple of times. This makes them much easier to mix and serve so they aren't too long to eat. We're doing great here. After all that prep and cooking, it's finally time to bring everything together. In a large mixing bowl, combine the glass noodles, the assorted vegetables, and the beef. in the prepared noodle sauce. And if you like, add a bit more of the finely chopped green onions for extra freshness. Toss everything thoroughly until the noodles are evenly coated. Traditionally, this is done by hand with a glove to help the noodles fully absorb all that delicious sauce. Transfer the noodles to a serving dish, then garnish with roasted sesame seeds and those bright, beautiful egg strips. Enjoy your homemade japchae. Thank you for watching Viet Flavors. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more delicious recipes. See you next time.